What's it been like for you here at the University of Colorado after being in the NFL for so long?
It's been great. I've always believed football is football. The field's the same size. It's marked differently. The other day I thought a ball wasn't caught in bounds. You only need 1 foot in. So there's different things I'm getting used to. But it's fun to be out on the field again, and it's fun to I have to work behind the scenes, but just every once in a while provide an idea that can maybe help these guys become champions at what they do.
You've been out of college football for a long time.
Yes.
Why did you think this was a challenge, an opportunity you wanted to pursue?
Well, I believe in Coach Prime, and I believe in him as a man. I remember him first certainly as a player. I was coaching in the league when he was playing, so I remember he's one of the best players of all time in that game. I believe in his competitive spirit, and when I was given an opportunity to come work with him, I jumped at it. So that was the beginning. With regard to college, you're right. My last college job was at Stanford. Prior to that, Michigan State. But I was curious about what the differences might be between college ball and pro ball, and there are some. Maybe ask me a month from now to define them for you, but these guys are eager, they're young. I can watch as our coaches are working with them, they're all ears, and then certainly the perspective that Coach Prime can give them in the team meetings with his great background. I think it's really cool.
How did this opportunity come about?
Just through people that know people, and so I was available. I took this year. There were some family events, a couple weddings. We had a couple, surgeries in the family that I wanted to be fully there for. So I made the effort this year to do that. The last 25 years of coaching, it really goes unsaid, but we're not always around, and so it gave me a year to be around, and I was really thankful for that. And then this summer, 2 and 2 just kind of became 4. A couple of phone calls here and there, and it was something that Coach felt somebody like myself could be an asset to the program, and then just made it happen.
What are your early impressions of Coach Lewis's offense?
It's what I remember college to be. There's a lot of up-tempo stuff. Most of it. In the NFL, I'd sit in the press box and just call the plays in. So there wasn't a barrier as far as communicating here because it's all signaled in. So it's a tempo style offense, and a lot of the plays are very familiar. But in a former life, what I might have called apple, he calls orange. So you quickly, curl flat is curl flat, 4 verticals is 4 verticals. So you just kind of tie the words to what we're trying to do, and in this case, the signals, and then you teach the players what to do.
What do your responsibilities look like on a day-to-day basis?
So as you know, being an analyst, I work primarily behind the scenes. So I'm in the meeting room with the coaches. I'm really not allowed to have one-on-one with players. It's really hard to be out there and bite your tongue when you see something, but if there is something I see that might help a player, I got to just kind of track it through one of the coaches.
What are your impressions of the talent that you're seeing on the field as a whole so far with the group?
Yeah, and again, that's the one thing I don't have anything to compare it to, because I don't know what a college field looks like with super talented players. But we have a lot of guys, and I'll just speak from watching our offense. We have a lot of very talented, skilled players. We got a lot of gritty linemen that work real hard, and obviously I think Shedeur can execute and play at a high level. So. And then we have a nice group of backs as well. So it'll be interesting to see it all come together. When we tee it up against TCU, I'll just be watching it just like you guys.
What do you make of the culture with a lot of people coming from a lot of different places and trying to kind of piece that all together?
The culture? Yeah, I think, I think of culture, you're always trying to establish a winning culture. And when you have a leader of your team like Coach Prime, who has won at everything he's done in life, that's where it starts. And so I think if our players and the people around him just listen to what he's saying, and take his messages to heart, then it'll all start to bloom and blossom, and then we'll win football games, and then then we can start talking more about what the culture looks like.
How would you describe the state of the program right now?
I don't know. I mean, I've only been here a couple of weeks. I see a bunch of guys out there practicing that are eager to compete. They're all ears in all the meetings. You can see out there's times, it's a good play or a bad play. Most of the errors out there are correctable, and then I just see a bunch of guys that are real eager to win. I can't speak to the past because I wasn't here. But moving forward, I think we're on the right track.
You obviously have familiar with the area, coaching with the Broncos the last couple of years. Did that kind of play into the decision at all? Just kind of the comfort with the area as a whole, being in Colorado.
Well, living out here is awesome. We really enjoy just life in general here in Colorado, and so when this came about, I didn't really get any pushback from my wife. We're empty nesters now, so they're easy moves to make.
You've been a part of a lot of NFL games. Is there a quarterback, whether in terms of demeanor or talent, you would compare Schurmur to?
I will never do that to a player. I didn't do it. If we were over in Dove Valley, I would have said the same thing. So I don't compare players. There's many things that Schurmur does well, and I think we'll all be able to see it when we start playing games.
Has this been fun for you to just see the game in a different way as opposed to being a coordinator or head coach?
It is a little bit. No matter what your role is, though, you put yourself into it like you're the one calling it and doing it. So I think that's just part of what we do. But no, I've really enjoyed it. I think regardless of the level, this past year I was able to go back and look at the things that I've probably done over the last 10 years and made a good list and a bad list, things you'll never do again, things that worked that maybe you didn't do in your last job but you did in the 2 jobs prior, and so that was a good exercise. And then just to do it mentally off to the side, it's fun. But I think if you're a coach or a career educator like most of us are, to be on the field around the players is kind of what makes us tick, and so that's fun.
Well, as you've been here the last couple of weeks, what have been some things that you've seen that Dion does in the program that you found intriguing or unique?
No, I just think he's an outstanding communicator. That's the other thing. I will never tell you what he talks about in team meetings. I think those are private settings. But just in terms of his demeanor, he is an absolutely outstanding communicator. And the way he does it in the team settings, you can see that it sinks in on the players.
One more for Coach. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Coach.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.